Thanks for the support as a channel member, Simon. Well then, Mrs Wearmouth, at least one more year. Are you as happy as I am? You were looking forward to a bit of time off. Yeah, well, you know, no time off for you. We go again. Hello and welcome to part 171 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review, the first bit of the transfer special, the first bit of the World Club Cup. It's going to be one of those strange summers where, because the World Club Cup is happening and we've qualified for it by getting to the Champions League final, which I don't even know if it was played. I don't remember it. But because we got to the Champions League final, we're in the World Club Cup, which means that's going to be scattered throughout the summer as well. I'm not going to do it as one massive episode. It will probably be 2 episodes. We'll do the season review and welcome Kovacic back and probably do gloss over the group stages, which are usually pretty easy today. And then in the next episode, we'll probably finish off any transfers. Not that there's likely to be much more in the way of transfers. Finish off the transfers and hopefully win the Club World Cup, because that'll actually be a more perfect way to end the series. Winning the Premier League 3 times in a row, Club World Champions, and then finish it off with a Champions League win. That's the new goal, boys and girls. So let's start things off with the season review, which, let's keep reminding ourselves, the best season in the club's history. Yeah, it had a disappointing end, but we won the Premier League for the 2nd year in a row. We know we're the best team in England now, and we lost the Champions League final by 1 goal against a team we finished 2 places above in the Premier League. These were our signings from last summer. Signing of the season goes to Enoch Abagai, as you would expect, a key player to come and get involved in our defence, although the board are disappointed with the money involved. Board are disappointed with the part exchange deal that resulted in Enoch Abagai joining the club because his wage is too high. Well, you know what? He's a world-class defender and we needed one. Similar to bringing Kovacic back this summer, who left as part of that deal. We need him, and because we can only sign 18-year-olds, our market for 27-year-old international quality, Champions League quality centre-backs, there was one option. It was either take Abagai or go with a kid that will take a few years to develop. It's the same with Kovacic. We either bring Kovacic back or we just bring in a few more kids. We may as well bring Kovacic back because we can. Other players who came in, I'd have been inclined to give Figueira signing of the season, because I think he's been fantastic since coming in. He is very close to a regular starting spot. Kieran Hodgkinson, of course, returned, and he's going to become part of our coaching setup at youth level now. He retires as a player this summer. And then a couple of other kids as well who've come in and gone out on loan. So Mrs Wearmouth was expecting us to qualify for the Europa League. We won the Premier League for the 2nd year in a row. We're maxing out the new home of football again, so we need a bigger ground or a new ground. Veloso, 44 goals in the Premier League is sensational stuff. He's set all kinds of records this season, which we'll have a look at in a second. Look at that, a 7-0 win. Ooh, just lovely. Club-wise, we've got a 4.5-star reputation, as we did previously. We're not quite 5-star. For some reason, Veloso still wants to leave despite this. Fingers crossed he changed his mind this summer, but you can see money-wise, the club is on the up. Sponsorship has gone up by like 30%. Broadcast revenue's up. Corporate and hospitality is up. Competition prize money is up. This is all as a result of reaching the Champions League final. Match day and commercial is up as well. We've done £10 million in merchandise, almost doubling our merchandise revenue on the previous year. Sold nearly 700,000 shirts. Park, Veloso, Juan Jose, Abagai, and Perez, the top shirt sellers. This was our team of the year. Perez in goal. A back four of Primus, Abagai, Elias, and Antonio. Perez and Kleber in midfield. No McKenna in team of the year is very interesting. Ian and Park out wide, and then Veloso and Juan Jose up front. Can't really argue with that. 57 goals in total for Veloso. And then you've got Juan Jose, Ian, Park, all into double figures as well. Kleber nearly there. We're just a good team, aren't we? I won Manager of the Year again. Veloso won Player of the Year. Still young enough to win Young Player of the Year. Abagai was signing of the season. Ian got goal of the season. Veloso, top scorer on 57. Juan Jose, who is now considered an elite striker, which Veloso isn't, but elite striker, Juan Jose, 21 assists. Veloso got most man of the matches and highest average rating. McKenna with the best pass completion. And look at all these awards Sandro Veloso's won. He's won the European Golden Shoe, the English Footballer of the Year, English Players Player of the Year, Premier League top goal scorer, Champions League top goal scorer, and Champions League forward of the season. And he's also broken all sorts of club records. So look at all the club records we've broken this year. So Veloso breaking records for most goals in a season at 57 and most league goals in a season at 44. Jovanovic broke the most goals in a match record with 5, which Veloso decided to just match, and he did it in the league. So he broke the most goals in a league match by a player, also getting 5. Juan Jose's 21 is a new record for most assists in a season. Veloso's 13 man of the matches is a new club record. Kieran Hodgkinson is now extended his record for most league appearances up to 438, playing on that final day of the season. Veloso extends his own record for all-time top scorer to 153. Hodgkinson is now also our oldest ever player at 36 years, 247 days. And Enoch Abagai is our most expensive player ever with his £73.5 million transfer. That is a lot of records to break in 1 year. I don't know how we didn't win the Champions League. Somehow we didn't. I'm kind of, and I suggest some of you probably agree with me on this, kind of quite glad. I'm quite excited at being able to have 1 more year with this team. We've broken the Champions League record for goals in a season with 35, better than Barcelona. Our all-time best 11 now finally has Veloso in it. About time too. Ian's made it in as well on the left-hand side. Fazekas is in at left back. Harrison Davies, Kieran Hodgkinson, Nathan Curry all still there, as is Alec Williams. Nathan Curry doesn't want to come in as a coach, by the way. He is, I think we talked about this in the last episode, he considers himself a bit of a manager and, not interested in coming back. So Nathan Curry might be at the end of his story for this save. But you know, Nathan Curry, he has a story every year, certainly whenever we do a home save. Mrs Wearmouth is looking for us to qualify for the Europa League again. I don't think she realises that we've won the Premier League the last 2 years in a row. Team leaders are Williams, Perez and Park. Team meeting wise, we'll give the boys a pat on the head. We'll tell them we're going to qualify for the Champions League. We need to be a bit more ambitious than Mrs Wearmouth. We're going to reach the latter stages of the Champions League as well. And we'll leave that there. Right, we got any more bits and bobs on here? Veloso, there's your confirmation that he won the Champions League top scorer as well. Champions League dream team, Veloso and Kleber both making it into that. Perez got second in the Champions League goalkeeper of the season. Elias third for defenders. We had no one in midfield, but our front two were the top two. Veloso and Juan Jose, the top 2 strikers in the Champions League this season. And an internal takeover potentially happening. Mrs Wearmouth might be stepping aside after all. Now, that would be interesting because if it's an internal takeover, the rest of the board are Sir Anthony Harris, Sir Mick Powell, Dean Morris and Shane Phillips. So if you watch the original home series from a couple of years ago, if one of those 4 takes over, my word. My word. Here we are then, folks. Kovacic is back. He was away for, 10 months? And he has returned. Where was he playing for Inter? So they played him largely as a wing-back on the left-hand side like we did. He played a few games at centre-back, but he's really coming back in to... he'll compete in both of those positions. We've obviously got Primus at left-back now, who is a full England international, so there'll be some more competition with Primus than there was previously. But at centre-back, he's the other 4-star centre-back we've got alongside Abagai. Still potential to improve as well. Thrives on big matches. This is the kind of player we need for Champions League finals. Obviously, that last season he had with us, he didn't want to be here. Hopefully he's realised the grass isn't greener on the other side. He's come back on an absolute stack of money. Just by having that year away. If he'd have asked for that money when he was here, we'd have probably given it to him anyway. But Kovacic is considered a global superstar, which is nice to be able to bring in a global superstar. 2nd year in a row we've been able to do that, even though they were both just bringing back players that we had previously. It does sting a little bit. A player that came through our own youth system, we've had to invest £60 million in, but ultimately we've got so much money. Even after doing that, we've got over 120 million pounds as our bank balance. I don't think we need to worry about money. FFP wise, we make so much profit. We can afford to do. Let's look at it this way. It was 60 million pounds invested in fixing his attitude, and that works for me. I think this is someone that I asked my director of football to go after. Potentially, yeah, because he's wanted by some decent sized clubs, but he didn't have a price when we were looking at him. There was no price. When we asked his agent, there was no price. So I asked my director of football to do it. So he looks like he's gone in for 10 million. There's a couple of other players we're after. Moritz Alpisch is an 18-year-old German centre-back who's wanted by all of the big clubs in Europe. Okay, most of the... Manchester City were on that list before. They seem to have lost interest now we're involved. I guess they realise they ain't getting him if we get him. But we're in for him. We're also in for this guy who Real Madrid were after. Are they still in for? Real Madrid are still interested, but I'm hoping we're going to get in there first. Marrero as well, who's currently at Malaga. So if we can bring in those three on top of bringing Kovacic back, there might be a couple who leave the club this summer. I'm not desperate to sell anybody, but if we look at the squad, it is getting pretty big. Obviously, Kieran Hodgkinson's going to be retiring. Alex Williams is the backup keeper, so we don't worry so much about him. But I'm looking at the likes of Francisco, even Hoffman, 22 and 24. For them, I mean, Francisco went out on loan at the start of last year. I panicked and brought him back, and then he came off the bench 3 times. I think we probably sell Francisco this summer. Bjorn Hoffman, again, if he's only got 3-star potential now, he's never going to get into our team. So we probably move him on as well. They're probably the two. In fact, should we just offer those 2 out now? We may as well. We may as well do our business early. So if we can offer these 2 out and get decent money for him, and if we get anywhere near that kind of money for him, that's awesome if we can do that. I mean, if they both sell for their value, that's 70 million pounds coming through the club. Freitag as well. We may as well get rid of him. He's only got the 3-star potential, so let's offer him out as well. Have we got anyone lurking around in the under 23s that we might want to bin off on a similar basis? Look at the players who are a little bit older down here. Tristan Mcdonald's still at the club. I constantly forget about him. He's still got a year left on his contract. He's just our 3rd choice keeper. We'll keep him around. Jack Bedwell's still here. Remember Jack Bedwell? We should probably offer him out. He's never going to get in the team. I don't even know who Bobby Cook is, but he's been here for 8 years. Never got anywhere near the first team, but I guess gave him a long contract at some point. Emil Christensen has just won the League 1 Most Promising Player Award. We were talking about him a little bit last season as a central midfield option. We were light in central midfield this year. He's just had a very, very good season. So he may well, still showing his 5-star potential as well. I think Emil Christensen is going to come into our first team squad this season. In fact, let's move him up now. We want him in that senior squad. There's also this guy, Stefano Scarabatoli, who we signed a couple of years ago now. A 6'4" centre-back, still showing his 5-star potential. He's had a couple of loans, Motherwell and Hearts, previously. It might be worth giving him a try in that first team. Let's see what the development centre says. So they're the 3 that are near the first team squad. Adrian Daly is a wonder kid. Oh, he's the guy who scored quite a few goals up in Scotland, wasn't he? Yeah, okay. So let's move, maybe not him. If we move these 2 up into the first team squad as well, they're both wonder kids. They deserve to be up in that first team squad. He probably isn't going to be the one, I don't think. But we'll get those 2 up and then make sure they're off the loan list. Those 2 and Christensen, we want in and not being loaned out. Freitag, we can just forget he exists. And that then gives us a first team squad. We'll ignore Hodgkinson of 30 with potentially 3 more coming in. We still need to trim this a bit, don't we? It's a little bit bloated. We'll figure it out. Oh, I've got a problem. I've got a big problem. Right, Juan Jose wants to go to Norwich. There you go. Disappointed to not be able to join Norwich. So we had the conversation with him to try and avoid the issue we had with Veloso. I agreed a price that I didn't think Norwich would pay. They've now come in and offered the price. So I'm now going to have to decline it. And I'm going to really upset Juan Jose because I've now gone back on my word. I've just got to decline it. I can't sell Juan Jose. Alibasic's just gone to Newcastle. Kelly probably can go out on loan, actually. Yeah, I think he probably can go out on loan as long as they pay all of his wages, because we love money around here, and he has to be a regular starter. We want him to, then don't. So Francisco is upset that I accepted an offer for him. I've never had this one before. So we've got one player who we want to keep who's upset that I didn't accept an offer. One guy who apparently I don't want, who's upset that I did accept an offer. Let's see what Juan Jose's got to say. Oh, God. Right. What can we even do? I just want to... Surely it's money. That's the only motivation to go to Norwich. This element, Football Manager, is a little bit broken because he wouldn't want to go. If it's about money, we'll give him the money. I'm not going to say it would weaken us. Made a decision, I'm going to get used to it. There isn't even one where I can offer him money. What's it going to take to keep you here? The sooner he accepts... There you go. I'm just going to have to say, well, you're not leaving. Well, I think I've just made that a lot worse. Let's see how he responds to that. This is where we have a player mutiny on our hands. I was hoping we'd get Veloso back on side this summer. We might be messing up the relationship with his strike partner as well. Right, there's nothing on there about him, so maybe it hasn't got worse. He's got nobody supporting him. 3 negatives. So he's complaining to teammates. Completely opposes the manager despite excellent support from his dressing room. Well, I'm a little bit offended there. I mean, I'm still on his favoured personnel, even though he completely opposes me. I made this boy's career. So many people would have binned him off after those first 3 seasons. I've made him into one of the best strikers in the world by showing faith with him. A little bit offended here. He is about to become English as well, which is interesting. He has played for Spain now, so can't play for England. But yeah, the Juan Jose situation, I suspect that's not going to be the last we hear of it this summer. Players are so stupid. Right, Nîmes and Norwich are doing my head in. Norwich caused the Kovacic problem that's taken us 3 years to sort. Nîmes are the one who's turned Veloso's head. Now they're taking the wonder kids that we want. We were in for this guy as well from Villarreal. He's gone to Nîmes instead. I can only assume it's money. They've got a lower reputation than us, but they're rich. But can I point out, we are also rich. We'll give the players what they want. They just have to tell me what they want, and then we'll pay it to them. We've been drawn in the same Club World Cup group as Manchester United and Chivas. Well, so we get to see more Chivas on the channel finally. But being in the same group as Manchester United is ridiculous. Mind you, there's some tough groups. Bayern and Liverpool, Milan and Barcelona, us and Man United. That group looks like it would have been a lot of fun. Man City and Real Madrid. That group looks fine. Another fun group there. What is with getting the big clubs, the big European clubs against each other? There's several groups that would be fine, and then there's a few groups where the big clubs are getting knocked out almost immediately. I wasn't planning on showing you the group stages, but I guess now we are. If we lose to Manchester United in this match in a couple of days, we're pretty much out of the Club World Cup before it's up and running. Here we go then, boys and girls. Kieran Hodgkinson has retired. Home central midfielder Kieran Hodgkinson has retired from professional football, and he's taken up a job as an under-18s coach where he's going to work with Sir Harrison Davies. Born in Peterborough in 2004, a playing career which spanned 21 years, the entire length of the save. He came through in the first youth team in the 2020-21 season. So was the year after Harrison Davies, who was here from the start of the game. Kieran Hodgkinson was the headline of the first youth intake, a youth intake that also included Nathan Curry, but joined us 2020, retired 2041, made 502 appearances and scored 77 goals throughout his career. I mean, that tells me he was a midfielder all along. All you lot telling me he was a striker. He was obviously a midfielder. Made his debut in the Southern League Division 1, so made his debut immediately on coming through the youth team. He was that good that he came straight into the first team as soon as he arrived. Got his first goal a year later playing for us. In fact, no, first goal that season. Within his first couple of games, he scored his first goal. He then went to Fulham, didn't he? Somewhere in here it will tell us that he went to Fulham. So he won, got a couple of trophies with us before he left. Yeah, left to go to Fulham for almost nothing, but then we got millions as paying off his sell-on a couple of years later, if I recall. But that figure is lost in history because we don't have that figure. I mean, someone could go and look it up and let us know in the comments. He then came back to us on loan, paid 170 times for us on loan before rejoining us permanently, just as we were getting promoted from the Championship. So in his home career, played 398 games, 63 goals. So over 100 games played away from us. Because, of course, he did leave us and go on to play for Dundee United as well. And, of course, he played a few games for Fulham. His trophy cabinet, he's got 2 Wearmouth Cups and a Sky Bet Championship. Feels like he probably should have had more to show for his 21-year career. But, yeah, hopefully he'll just be with us forever as a coach now. That's 2 of the old boys in the coaching setup. I love this save so much. The fact that someone who came for our youth team, played for us for 21 years, is now a coach of that same youth team that he came through. Just perfect. Right, we did manage to get the other 2 youngsters that we were after. Neither of these went to Nîmes. So Lorenzo Marrero, the bin men are loving it. Lorenzo Marrero is a left winger. He's come in for £5 million from Malaga. A little bit worried by that. The scouts indicated he might be a little bit better than that. First player in a long time who's not actually a wonder kid that we've brought in, so that one might not work out so well. And then Moritz Alpish has also signed. He's a centre-back, 2.5-star current ability, which makes him already at centre-back as good as Simon Hanna, almost as good as Erkan, as good as Scarabatoli, the other guy we were looking at, 5-star potential, still showing as his 5-star potential now, and he is a wonder kid. Normal business has resumed. The other piece of transfer business that we've done, we've continued to turn down offers for Juan Jose. Norwich are up to like 120-something million now. We have sold Bjorn Hoffman to Leicester for £27.5 million. Not bad business at all, really. Bought him for £8 million 4 years ago. Loaned him out to Motherwell, Augsburg, Forest, Villarreal, and then sold him on for £27 million. Only ever played 4 games for us. Never scored a goal. And sold him on for massive, massive money. That's how we make as much profit as we do. But the latest Juan Jose offer is, 123 million that we're still turning down. Currently, still nobody supporting him. So as long as he's just on his own being grumpy, I think we can get away with it. Both of them going into next season in a grump could be a big problem for us, though. See, there's a lot of clubs in for Veloso. We just can't sell these players. Well, okay. That might change things a little if that stands. It's going to be disallowed for offside. What I was saying is it looks like this is all going to be one video after all for the summer because we're getting knocked out of the Club World Cup before it's even up and running. A defeat here means even if we beat Chivas, unless Chivas beat Manchester United and the goal differences all go in our favour, we're out. There's only one team coming through the group. So United almost guaranteed to be that one team unless we get some kind of remarkable turnaround. They are down to 10 men, but you know what we're like when we play Manchester United. Veloso and Juan Jose didn't turn up, which is a problem. And we've just looked pretty poor. Kovacic playing his first game for the club in over a year. First game with Abagai in like 8 years. And that's that. No Club World Cup win for us again. I am destined never to win this tournament on YouTube, I think. See, I don't care about the Club World Cup anymore. The game has just arranged this for me. I didn't even realise it was due, but Alex Williams' testimonial has been arranged against Crystal Palace as well. The team he had his 1 year away from the club at. So it's going to be another opportunity for some of the old boys to return to the club, which is going to be awesome. Don't care what happens against Chivas. The Alex Williams testimonial, the Wearmouth Cup, that's all that really matters. We are going to be very prepared for the new season, and we're just going to win everything again. Ugh. Club World Cup's dumb. Well, we'll take this with a pinch of salt because obviously it is only against Chivas. It's a game we should have won anyway. But Adrian Daly looks awesome. He's got a hat-trick on his debut in a competitive game for us. Still only 20 years old. He has the composure of Veloso, his first goal. He rounded the keeper beautifully. 3 years younger than Veloso. If Veloso does force through a move, maybe Daly is the answer. But he's certainly going to be getting more game time for us this season. And we're 4-0 up as it stands. Not top of the group yet. So clearly goal difference doesn't mean anything in this tournament, and it is down to head-to-head. So the only chance for us to progress into the next round in this competition, and we've won a penalty here, is if Chivas beat Manchester United, then presumably because we'll have all beaten each other, goal difference then comes in. So we need Chivas to beat Manchester United like 1-0, 2-0. And then I think everyone's beating everybody else. It goes to goal difference and we then go through because we're thumping Chivas. It isn't going to happen. This is a very poor Chivas team. So I'm not expecting them to do anything against Manchester United. They'd be delighted with a draw against Manchester United, I'm sure. Marcelo here to make it 5-0. And he does. As you can see, we rotated the team a bit for this game. Playing Daly up front with Jovanovic, Marcelo and Madness out wide, Much getting a start in midfield. And I mean, they all look very good. We'll just make that change. Park can come on. We're not taking it that seriously, but because it's officially a competitive game, I have to manage it. So no way to, I don't holiday. At the end of the save, there'll be 0 holiday days. So have to manage it. And we'll just keep racking up the goals, I guess. But yeah, Daly looks awesome. Started to think the media might have a bit of an agenda against us. The wording on this. Holme have failed to qualify from Group C of the Club World Championship. The English champions fell miserably below expectations as they failed to qualify from Group C, containing the likes of Chivas, finishing second with 3 points. We beat Chivas 7-0 and we lost to Manchester United, which we always do. The likes of Chivas. Why couldn't we get this group? Club America have made it through that group. Sundowns are going to make it through that group. This competition is a joke. And we've just sold Tristan, talking of jokes, we just got £8 million from Tristan Mcdonald, who's gone to Chelsea. Presumably just because he's English homegrown backup goalkeeper for him. They're paying him an awful lot of money, though, to sit on their bench. So Tristan Mcdonald falling on his feet a little bit there. He's just going to be one of those goalkeepers who knocks around at massive clubs for years, being a backup goalkeeper. Stephen Reed's another one, who we sold years ago, and he's now the backup at Tottenham. We sold him to Watford. He went through Brighton and then to Tottenham. He's never been a regular in the Premier League. He's never been a regular anywhere, really, other than the 2 loans to the National League that he had while he was with us and 1 season on loan at Portsmouth from Brighton in the Championship. Other than that, he's been a backup goalkeeper his entire career. But I guess some keepers are just happy doing that. Well, it seems like not everybody ignored that the World Club Cup was going on. Schalke were paying attention. A £50 million offer for Adrian Daly, who has played 1 competitive game for us. Other than that, everything has been in the MLS, the Championship, or the Scottish Premiership. He has got 28 goals in 29 internationals for Australia. That is still an insane transfer offer. How quick he is. In fact, they were 18s last time I looked. Let's just compare him to Veloso. Just for funsies. So, he's got better mentals than Veloso, better defending, not quite as good physicals. Remember, he's 3 or 4 years younger, 3 years younger than Veloso. Almost as good physicals, almost as quick. same vision, same attacking, same technical, not quite as good in the air. We actually could be selling Veloso in a year if Daly has a breakthrough season. Wouldn't that be insane? We might end up winning the Champions League in 2 years' time with Jovanovic and Daly up front because the two grumpuses grump their way out of the club. So for Alex Williams' tribunal, these are the boys who are coming back. I'm not going to play through the match because it's not that exciting. But Villalobos is coming back. Villalobos, who is now at Valenciennes in France, was playing with Christensen all last season. Roberto Costabile is coming back. He's playing in Greece. We've got Daniel Onyango. Wow, he was from a long time ago. He was from non-league, wasn't he? I feel like he was from non-league. Apparently not. He was in the Championship. Wow. That shows how long this save's been going on. He's still playing in the Championship regularly for QPR. And Darren Collier, who was supposed to be great and then never was. He's now at Rotherham. So those boys are coming back in. Alex Williams has made it to icon status, by the way, which I don't remember him doing. And also Sandro Veloso, now a club legend, which I guess is fair. He has so many club records. But yeah, that's what's going on for the Alex Williams testimonial. They all come home eventually. Nathan Curry is back home as an under-18s fitness coach. He was always had a good engine on him, didn't he? So he's now a fitness coach after, what's that, 6 years in Austria, 5 years in Austria, a year in Spain. He's now back after 7 years or 6 years away from home. And yeah, hopefully back permanently now, although he has got a clause to let him go for a manager's job, and he still does seem to fancy himself as a manager. But for now, our youth coaching setup has Nathan Curry, Kieran Hodgkinson, and Sir Harrison Davies all coaching the under-18s. The next generation of players coming through this club are going to be awesome. We are midway through the Community Shield. I know I normally show the Community Shield in full, but I've already shown you us lose to Manchester United once this episode. I can't sit through it over and over again. They just keep beating us. It's infuriating. We're making a bunch of changes. We've not turned up for this at all. We're going to take off both of those two, in fact. Goals might be a problem this season if our front two are going to be grumpy. We can make 6 changes in this, can't we? So we get Madness on as well. Kovlik's having a shocker, so he can come off. And I guess for my final trick, we'll bring Erkan on for Elias. There you go. 6 substitutions all at the same time. We're going to demand more. We're going to go more attacking. Marcelo scored 5 goals in a match against Monaco in the Wearmouth Cup earlier on in pre-season. I know it's only the Wearmouth Cup. I would argue it's probably more prestigious than the Community Shield at this point. But Marcelo's definitely got goals in him. So hopefully the Marcelo and Jovanovic partnership can pay dividends. Marcelo getting in there and a decent effort that's saved by the Manchester United goalkeeper. 15 minutes to go. We remain 1-0 down. It's been a much closer game than the one in the Club World Cup. But I don't even know what they're doing tactically. Some kind of weird flat back 6 nonsense because they're so afraid of us. I don't really know what they're afraid of. We've looked at the stats in previous episodes. Their record against us is, they just thump us all the time. I don't really know how they're not yet on our rivals list because they're just constantly beating us. And I think Marcelo has got the goal. He has. We said he had goals in him. He's been in excellent form throughout pre-season, and now he's got his first competitive goal of the season. Competitive-ish. In the Community Shield to make it 1-1. 5 minutes to go. We might be about to go to a penalty shootout, which I'll level with you, I didn't plan for, and I don't really want to commentate through for the next 10 minutes. But you know what? We might wrap things up early. We've got some good penalty takers, so let's see what we can muster up. Jovanovic steps up first. I don't think we've won the Charity Shield. We've only played in it once before, haven't we? And we lost last year, presumably to Manchester United. It could have been Manchester City. They're basically the same team, and they both always beat us. But we are 1-0 ahead. We're looking for a performance from Perez today, who all summer I've been thinking about how he's the weak link, and if this was a normal save, we'd have gone out and bought a world-class goalkeeper this summer. But maybe he can convince me I'm wrong with a penalty shootout performance. Marcelo makes it 2-1. And he is looking composed and deserving of that number 10 shirt. So we might have to mix things up front a little bit this year if the two grumpy boys carry on being grumpy boys. Remember, Veloso was grumpy for most of last season and still set all the goal scoring records. But if Juan Jose being grumpy stops it, I mean, he might look as good as he does because he's got one of the best creators in history alongside him. So if Juan Jose being grumpy causes problems, we might have to bring one or both of them out of the team to try and figure out how we're going to score goals. Because what we've seen throughout the summer is the friendlies where those two aren't in, we score for fun. The matches where they are playing, like in the World Club Cup, we have a problem. So let's say Vinicius Antonio's just missed that by an absolute mile, and it looks like United are going to be beating us again. They're 4-3 up going into the final penalty for each team. We need two heroes to step up here, or it's yet another defeat against United to add to our long history. Right, Kleber definitely has hero in him, so fingers crossed he can do his bit. It's Kleber stepping up to take his penalty, and he scores. And now we need Perez to keep his side of the bargain. We need Perez to be a hero as well, and then we can see how deep the penalty-taking prowess is within these two squads as we'd head into sudden death. So Perez against some guy called Johansson that nobody's ever heard of. Come on. It's another win for Manchester United. We don't need to see them collect another trophy. Well, football match performance aside, I think we've had quite a successful summer, clearing out the squad a little bit, making room for some young, fresh faces to come through. I think we got as far as Tristan Mcdonald leaving before. As you can see, lots of players have left on loan, but we have sold a few players as well. Ismail Diaz has gone to Atalanta for £35 million, a £10 million profit on the deal to bring him to the club 4 years ago. And that's to make room for Emil Christensen, who is going to be part of the first team squad this coming season. Unfortunately, about 3 days after Diaz leaving the club, Christensen then got himself injured and he's going to miss the first 6 weeks or so of the season. But the plan was very much for Christensen to take the squad spot of Ismail Diaz for this coming season, and he will do once he's recovered from his injury. We've also let Pedro Guerrero go on loan to Rangers. I am determined that he's going to become a right back, but in the meantime, he can go and play for Rangers for a year. He's not going to get anywhere near the team this year. I tried to get rid of Erkan, but I couldn't. So if Vinicius Antonio gets injured, Erkan's going to play right back. So Guerrero's got Kovacic and Primus ahead of him at left back. He needs Erkan to move on, and no one wants him. Francisco's gone to Ajax for £17 million. Again, another little profit. He'll score loads of goals in the Netherlands. He scored loads of goals in the Premier League when he got the opportunity to. So I'm sure that's not the last we'll see of Francisco, but that makes room for Daly in the squad. And then a couple of other of the fringe players have moved out on loan as well. Camacho's gone to Lazio for the season. Velasco's gone to Monaco for the season. So there's a few players who've gone out to get game time. Fraser Cassidy is one to keep an eye on. He got goal of the season at the under-21 Euros this summer, came through our youth system, has had a number of loans. He's out on loan at Burnley this season. He was there a couple of years ago as well when they were in the Premier League, so should have a fantastic season for them, and will probably be moving into our squad next year. I just didn't want to bring him up at the same time as Christensen. So new faces in the squad compared to last year. Obviously, Kovacic is back. We've moved up Christensen, who was out on loan last year, and Adrian Daly is going to be the other big one who we're going to be looking for a lot from this year. 3-star current ability he's showing us now. I have very high hopes for Adrian Daly. He's in the process of signing a massive 5-year contract on like £80,000 a week. You can see there's clubs interested in him. We've also had a loan offer from Manchester United for Simon Hanna, which we just laughed out of the building. But Hanna, I think this is the year Simon Hanna replaces Elias at the back for us. And I mean, it's all moving in the right direction. The squad looks small. There's only 23 players there, but there are a few of those boys who probably could be sat in the first team squad that are with the under-23s at the moment. Jordan, Ghislaine is a centre-back who could easily be part of the first team squad. We looked at him earlier in the summer. And a few of these boys are likely to get recalled from their loans at Christmas as well. And the likes of Velasco, Alcic, Cassidy, Camacho, Guerrero, Scarabatoli, and Mark Kelly. Any of these boys could get recalled in January if we need them. I think this is a squad that can get us to the knockout round of the Champions League, keep us competitive in the Premier League, and then we'll recall players as needed for the second half of the season. It worked wonders with Marcelo last year, and fingers crossed it'll work wonders again this year, doing it that way around. The one other thing we've done is changed club captain. After being club captain for a long, long time, it is no longer Alex Williams. Perez remains vice captain, and our new club captain is Ian, who's got 16 for leadership. He's been on leadership courses. We've been grooming him for it for a little while. New club captain of Holme Football Club is Ian. Long term, I think it's probably going to be McKenna, but he's not there yet. So Ian can do it for a little while until he loses his place in the team to Madness or Figueroa or whoever forces him out of the team ultimately. Interestingly, Ian, when we were negotiating his new contract this summer, wanted a clause in there to play as a striker. So he thinks he's a striker. I don't think he is, but he seems to think he's a striker. We'll see. But for now, he's still a winger and he's our captain. And this is what our team is likely to look like for the first day of the new season. Still a little bit light in midfield, but that's largely because of injuries. Christensen, Kleber, Figueroa, all injured for the first day of the new season. That could easily be Perez or Much in there. And we're going with Jovanovic, but not ideal. We need to stop picking up injuries to the squad spot that is our weakest, certainly until we can start to get... I think Christensen's got to be the one. Christensen is the man who's going to emerge in there, hopefully. Reading a lot into that. If you've enjoyed this, though, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.